Hi, I'm Missy with On William Street, and this week we are going to show you how to make no-waste flying geese blocks. So our flying geese, you're going to have this center triangle, and then you've got two smaller triangles on the outside of that square. And we're going to put them together so that there is no waste. And this is a really simple way to do your flying geese. And it's a really easy formula, so you can make whatever size of finished flying geese that you want. So the formula for this is you're going to want to take the finished size that you want your geese, so not including that 1/4 inch seam that you're going to sew into your quilt. And then you're going to add 1 1/4 inches to the width, and then 7/8 inches to the height of what you want your finished geese to be. So this block is cut at 5 3/4 inches. So that is going to give us finished geese that are 2 1/4, gotta double check my notes, 2 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch geese. And it's gonna give us 4 of those geese. And then we have our smaller block that you added that 7/8 inch. So from that height, we added 7/8 inches. So this square is going to be 3 1/8 inch in diameter, and then we'll make our geese. With this, you're going to want to have a marker, a fabric marker on hand, as well as a ruler to help you line these up. We love our little 1-inch ruler and our heat erase fabric pens. So we're going to take 2 of those small squares, and you're going to line them up along the corners, diagonal from each other on your big square. And then you want to line this up and draw a line from corner to corner. And then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on each side of that line. We've got our seam, and we're going to then cut on this line. I don't think I pressed hard enough. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and iron these. Now, one thing that I want to point out that we want to make sure you do, because I know one of the quilter's rules is always to press to the dark side, but in this case you're always going to want to iron up. The reason for that is once we get all of these geese completely finished, it's going to be much easier to not sew over your points if you've ironed these up and made it nice and flat. Now we're going to take 2 more squares, and we're going to do 1 on each of these sections, line it up again along this corner on the opposite angle, take our pen, and we're going to mark from corner to corner. And then we're going to take this back over to the sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch seam on each side. And we've got our seams complete. We're going to, again, just like we did before, cut on that line for each of these. And then we will take these back over and press them. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to want to make sure that you press those up so that when you're sewing them together, your flying geese together, it just gives you a nice little better vantage point and view to help get that point sewn without cutting it off. So from 1 big block and 4 small blocks, we were able to get 4 perfect flying geese. And like I said, when we do these measurements, you're going to take the final width and height of the flying geese that you want to have. And for the larger block, for this center, you're going to add 1 1/4 inches larger than this width. And then for these smaller blocks, you're going to add 7 1/8 inch larger than the height that you want. And with that formula, you can make any size of flying geese you want. So with the flying geese, it's just a really fun, versatile block. You can use this in any type of a quilt. It makes a great border around the outside of a finished quilt if you need to add a little bit of extra width. And they're great, either all same colors, and they're really fun to do scrappy. And you can just throw all of these scrappy little flying geese together and just make a really fun scrappy quilt as well. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can make sure that you keep up on everything that we're doing throughout the year, and we'll see you next week.